Just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton.
You are listening to
Fire emergency.
Please don't touch this weapon. I'm sorry I killed that girl.
All right. Welcome to the Grim Fix Podcast. I am your host, David. I am here with my other co-host, JR, and my other co-host, Charles, in the building.
What's up?
We are back. Today we're not really talking about true crime today. Since we are in the month of October and Halloween is quickly approaching, we decided to do like a list of movies that may have caused us the term now used frequently is trauma, right? That's the word everybody uses now. But back then, yeah, movies that might have scared us. It could be horror, it could be whatever it is. It could be, whatever the movie is, if it scared us as we were younger or even older, then it's on this list. So, that's what we'll be talking about today. So if you have not done so far, I ask you to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are listening us through the podcast platforms, follow us, subscribe, review, drop us 5 stars, 6 stars, whatever you can, the max stars you can, drop us those stars. Tell the world how amazing we are and how much you love this podcast, and share with your friends. And we remind you, look for us on social media. You can find us on Facebook so far and Instagram as the Grim Fix Podcast. So let's get the show started. Bam, bam.
Who's gonna throw off the first movie?
So wait,
the one that I just said?
Before we start that, before we started recording, me and Charles were talking about quickly about Halloween.
Oh, nice.
He has not seen it yet.
What?
But we did.
What?
So I wasn't giving anything away because he already has a theory of how the movie goes, which I'm pretty sure he mentioned in a previous episode of the podcast, if not in one of our private conversations. But basically, everything he said is exactly the movie. So not really missing much besides the internal story. So I was telling him how, like, I like to look up reviews and I go on Reddit and stuff like that and read what people say about it. And I was telling him that it was getting, I'm not talking about Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't look in Rotten Tomatoes. I'm talking about like people, real people on Facebook and forums and blogs and Reddit. And most people, what they were saying is that they didn't like the fact that it was called a Halloween movie and the fact that it was the last, right, quote unquote, the last Halloween movie of the other 15 movies that have come out. So, what did you think, JR, of the movie?
I liked it. They finally ended it. That's my part, I like the fact that they just ended it there and that's it, no more.
Was the ending satisfying to you?
To me, yes, of course.
Not to me.
Why not? Okay, this guy didn't even see it, so we can't take it away.
So the ending, no, without saying what exactly happens, it's just the ending to me was very anticlimactic. There was a lot of, I was telling Charles, there was a lot of holes in the story. A lot of questions that weren't answered. And I'm assuming, I don't know if they do this on purpose so everybody can have their own theory. Maybe. But when it comes to filmic process, right, the script and the production and all that, I feel like it was done kind of sloppy in a way that it was like, it seemed like it was rushed. Because there are questions that were not answered. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like the movie. Out of the last 3 that came out, to me, that was my favorite.
Question: were those questions important for the plot of the story? Were they relevant?
I think they were relevant to the movie. So, like I was telling you, in the trailer, they show when Michael Myers reaches out and grabs that kid, right? They also show that Michael Myers is like super weak, right?
Oh well, yeah.
So, my question is, what happens in that interaction between Michael Myers and that kid? Because his story makes sense to what he became. It makes perfect sense. I don't want to give that away, but it makes perfect sense to that part. But what happens? Is there a transmission of a spirit? Is
No,
there, like, so you want to say evil?
the way they explain it, he saw like, okay, how can I put it in words?
Like Laurie Strode says, she saw in his eyes the evil brewing, right?
Right.
But again, it's like, so what happened? Did something pass on to him? Because again, his story makes sense if it would have been like, oh shit, this guy snapped. His story made sense if they would have told me that. But the fact that there was that interaction between them two, and then all of a sudden he becomes what he becomes, to me, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, it looked like the buddy thing.
But that's what I'm saying. And then in some parts, Michael Myers is weak and old.
Well,
Some parts,
that's why he's weak, because he's old, and
but
after
that's what
what
I'm saying.
happened in the movie before.
But then he becomes strong. Like he literally takes a person and lifts them up.
Yeah, well,
That's what I'm saying. So you see how you're nodding your head? That's how I was watching
yeah.
the movie. I was like, okay, so
All right, okay, you do make sense.
I mean, it doesn't take away for all you listeners. It does not take away from the movie, and I do recommend that everyone go see it. I think, in my personal opinion, I think it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I want to say, if I were to give,
It was fucking awesome.
no, like if I were to compare out of all the Halloween movies, I would put part one, the original one, obviously, because that's the one that gave us Michael Myers.
Mhm.
I would give the first one of Rob Zombie, which to me was the best one.
Yes.
And then this one. Those three would be my favorites. And Halloween 3 that has nothing to do with Michael Myers. I gotta throw that out there.
That's
But
your dirty cheat.
that would be fourth place. So with that said, I just want to be able to put in the description of the video and podcast that we spoke about Halloween. So this is a cheat that we're doing.
If it weren't for
Spoiler
this
free.
tripod, if it wasn't for this tripod, we can talk a little bit more.
I want to
Yeah.
go to I want to
detail.
experience the thing at the movie theater.
You want
That's
to
why
see
I
it in the
haven't.
movie theater?
Okay.
Okay. You should have just
I mean,
watched it
yeah.
on TikTok.
It makes sense. Watching in the theater, I think it's even a better experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, good movie. I recommend that everyone go watch it. I'm not trying to shit on the movie because I actually enjoyed it.
I still like the ending. I really.
But that's what I'm saying. The ending, oh god, until Charles watches, I can't talk about the ending. But
If that's the
the
whole
ending,
issue.
I did like what happens. I don't like how it happens.
Okay.
Especially the scene leading to the ending.
Well, yeah, I get that part. Yeah, you're right.
Like, that's why I was like, Anyway, so with that said, who wants to shoot a name of a movie that we can talk about that caused them childhood trauma, aka fear of the dark?
I'm gonna
Something.
give you the first one, the one that we were just talking about before we started the program.
Okay.
Which is called The Day After.
He said the program.
Oh, the
day-
program, the podcast, really, the podcast.
the
The
day
day
after.
after, and the director is Nicholas Meyer. And I saw that like way, way back when I was a kid. It doesn't have to do with monsters, zombies, and whatnot. It's just something that has a little bit more realism to it
So
because of the
I
nuclear bombing.
yes. So for all you Gen Xers, what's the other one? Gen Zers?
Gen Zers.
Back in the 80s, there was a big fear, huge, right? There was a fear. There was always a well, now it's back, but back then there was always a thing between the Soviet Union before it fell, and America, right? And there was always talk about where World War III and how, I mean, obviously, if you watch the news now, you know that that fear is still alive. You know that, there's issues with Russia. But back then, Russia was even more powerful because they had the USSR, right? The Soviet Union. And anyway, this movie, I can't tell you I remember the movie because I don't, but I do remember a specific scene. I don't remember in whose house I was because I know I was not in my house. And I remember specifically going to someone's house. It was a family member's house. And they played two movies while we were there. One of them was Carrie, and the other one was that one, The Day After. And I remember the scene of like a nuclear bomb going off and people basically just disintegrating, but in a painful way. Not just poof. No, none of that shit. Like everything,
no CGI.
yeah, like everything turning
click.
red, and I remember feeling the fear.
Yes,
I do remember that.
that's an oldie. It lags a lot. It lags because I'm literally it lags, but it's something that really scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
That was 1983, you said?
Yep, 1983. There's a known actor in there. It's called John Lithgow.
I don't know.
Who's that?
You don't know who's John Lithgow? Oh my god.
I don't either.
You've seen him in.
I told you, man. You got to give me movies and shows.
Well, he came out in different shows. What's the name of that movie? I mean, that name of that program.
It's a very good question.
Once
okay,
I get
John
it,
Lithgow. Okay, Charles, what you got for me?
Well, I know that
Third Rock.
There you go.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Okay, I've never seen that show, but I know what show you're talking about.
Okay.
Well, I try to deviate from what we all know from the Freddys and the Jasons and the Pinheads. Yeah, so I tried to go way back, and I was like, well, what movie made it for me like the first time?
Okay, hold up. John Lithgow is Trinity from Dexter.
I haven't seen Dexter.
Bruh.
What?
Dude.
You remember Trinity?
No.
Did anybody see How I Met Your Mother?
Nope.
All right. Anyway, for those of you listening, John Lithgow is Trinity from Dexter, which is the guy he would cut women in the bathtub, and he would cut with a razor blade up their leg. He kills Dexter's wife.
I don't remember.
Okay, and he's
saw the show.
He's Barney's father in How I Met Your Mother. Okay, continue. Away from the Freddys and the Jasons.
So the first movie that I saw when I was a kid that really impacted me was, and I know that we've talked about this movie, but Scream. That was my first. Yes, that was like my first. I mean, I knew about the Freddys, I knew about the Jasons, but I didn't have like the age to literally sat down and watch a movie like that.
How old were you when you saw Scream?
Like, wasn't
Ready?
like 12 or so.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I was about Yeah, I was about 16.
Yeah, I was
17.
in junior high.
That was
Had
what,
to be-
96?
Yes, that was 96 actually. So I was born in 92, 14 years old actually.
That's when they allowed you to watch horror movies.
No. I mean, that's when I literally sat down and watched the scary movie,
Oh.
and just that scene, like the Drew Barrymore stabbing, like that was so graphic back in the day. That really impacted me, really.
Wow, I would have never imagined that would have been the first movie you mentioned.
Yes.
I'm like shocked.
I was obsessed with that movie when it came out. And interesting enough, I found some fun facts online.
Okay.
Did you know that the name Scream was inspired by a Michael Jackson song? That's why they named it Scream.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
You know that it was gonna be called Scary Movie, right?
Yeah. That we mentioned in last week's episode. We mentioned
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Weinsteins didn't want that name, and the song "Scream" with Janet Jackson was popular at the time, so they were listening to him. So they were like, "Let's call it Scream." So yeah, you didn't know that.
I did
It
not
was
know.
inspired by the MJ song.
There's an old ass movie that's called Scream, also. Really old.
Really?
Yeah. I bumped
What's it
into it
about?
looking around, and I bumped into it. I didn't look at it. I just saw like the cover and the name, and it says Scream, and it has a hand with a knife.
But what was it about?
I haven't watched it. I just saw, like I said, I just saw the cover, and it's
Okay.
old. Because I was looking through the years, 1980s. Check out all the movies. 1981. Check out all the movies. So I bumped into it just scrolling around.
No, go ahead.
I also found out that caller ID used in the U.S. tripled after the movie in '96. So people were afraid.
Wait, say that again.
Caller ID use tripled in the U.S. after the movie in '96. So people were afraid. I mean, everybody has that fear of, I don't know, like burglaries or people coming into your house at night and kill you. Like, I don't know. It's just that fear of somebody going into your house and kill you at night.
Yeah.
That really got me really there.
Well, I remember that movie impacted me. What impacted me? I mean, I loved the movie when I first saw it. I was also obsessed with it. I think I went like 3 times to the theaters to watch it. And that movie, I think the thing that most impacted me was obviously the twist at the end was mind-blowing to me.
Yes.
But not only that, I remember I was very impacted by the fury with the way they would kill people. I don't know why. Like I would say like it was like an angry killing all the time. And to me, I remember taking that away, like that impacted me. Go ahead.
Shit, I got bad grades.
Oh, and did you know that W. Earl Brown's death? That's Gail Weathers' cameraman, that he gets his throat slit.
Okay.
He says that when his throat was slit in the original cut, his death was so gruesome that the rating board slapped the film with an X rating, requiring Craven to trim a few frames to land the R rating. So it was that brutal when it came out.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
Look at that. The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Holy shit. Yeah, so that's a really good one. I would have to say, you got more facts on that, or should I shoot one? Right.
Yes.
So
he's making us look bad. He's coming up with a bunch of facts.
I got no facts.
I just got the simple stuff.
Yeah. My biggest fear as a kid was always clowns. With that being said, I don't know if it's because of this movie, but I do remember that shit haunted me until like I was a grown ass man and I got over it. But Poltergeist,
Yeah, I have.
That clown
That's
scene
actually one of mine.
when he looks under the bed and that fucking toy wraps around his neck. That was the most traumatizing shit ever for me. Like, no, I'm telling you, I legit had not a real clown, not a real people. That didn't scare me. It's just clown
It's
toys.
the fact that it's under the bed.
Yo, I'm telling you, like I remember as a kid, I was about maybe 11 years old, 12 years old at the time. And I remember my cousin had a monkey that was hanging like this from the room, right? And I lived with my godmother for about a year. And I had to sleep in one of my cousin's room, and she had that monkey hanging like this. It was a big ass monkey too. I don't know if you remember that, but
I do.
that fucking monkey scared the shit out of me because I kept thinking about poltergeist. I was like, yo, what if that? Because the monkey had like long arms, and then it had like Velcro in the hand, so it was like holding on to this like pipe thing that they had on the wall. And I always thought about, yo, what if that shit drops from there and wraps his long ass arms around me? Like, yes, traumatizing. And then you had, because growing up, you were surrounded. I mean, I wanted to do a podcast about this, but I've searched and I really haven't found real stories about this. But back then, prior to the internet, you would hear things and you would think they were real because somebody told you, oh, I read it in a newspaper. Okay.
Yeah, like the Smurf. Remember the Smurf?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to. Like the Smurfs. You ever heard about that story about the
Yes.
Smurfs and killing somebody and then the
Smurf
Smurf
scare.
had like blood?
Yeah, I remember
Mouth.
that.
The
It's
Smurf
urban
scare.
I was
legend.
fucking terrified of that. So yeah, man, I'm telling you, I was a super scaredy cat as a kid, and it was all that. I mean, you want to call it trauma, call it what it is. Yeah, man. But Poltergeist was one of those movies that really
You know who was creepy in that movie besides the little girl? That lady that went to do not the exorcism. She went to help out. That her name is Zelda Rubinstein.
Yeah, that's the short little lady.
Yeah, she's creepy.
Yeah. She had that like little kid voice.
Old ass lady with a little girl voice.
No. Hold on to yourselves. There's one more thing. A terrible presence is in there with her.
All right, so what else you got, JR?
I have Day of the Dead. It's like one of the first zombie movies that I've seen from George A. Romero. Came out in 1985. It was basically all these movies when I saw them when I was a kid. You know, when you're a kid, you get scared a lot. You know, it don't matter what you watch.
Yep. Well, that's what made it so hard for me to make this list. I was like, I remember movies as a kid, and if I a lot of them I don't remember. Like I remember watching it, I couldn't tell you what happens in the movie, and then it's like if I rewatch it, then I'm like, oh, this shit sucks. So I just left it off my memories.
Yeah, you know that one of the actors in that movie, Tom Savini. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He did From Dusk Till Dawn. He's the guy with the pistol in his penis.
I don't remember Dusk Till Dawn too well. What was his name you said?
Tom Savini. He's actually right now he's into more special effects. He's a creator, makeup.
He's a makeup artist.
He's in a lot of movies, a lot of zombie movies.
Creepshow, Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow
Right.
2, Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead. So that's the one you just mentioned, right?
Yeah, but not the latest one. There's the old. I'm talking about the old.
The remake.
Not the remake.
The one from 1985.
Original. Yeah, correct.
So the one from 1985 is crazy because I was actually gonna watch that movie the other day, and I didn't because of the cover. There's a zombie holding a gun.
Yeah, okay. The fact is that they say that.
And the cover is a zombie like this holding a gun.
All
Like,
gangs, all
Which,
gangs.
wait,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
one is that one? Is
Huh?
it the latest one or the
it says
1985
from
one?
1985. I'm looking
I
at it
don't
right
remember
here.
that.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will see I will put this cover up there because I found it hilarious. I told my wife, this alone makes me not want to watch it.
That's like Zombieland.
Bam, bam,
But
bitch.
I still haven't seen that movie because of
Then
that.
holding it sideways and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, bam, bam.
Yo, let me say this.
But it's they focus on exactly one zombie. He's a soldier, and you know how they say about muscle memory.
Yeah,
Well, it's sort of like that. That they still have, not thoughts exactly, but memories of how shit are used.
yeah.
They're kind of like not training him, but trying to see if he can use something that he used to use back then, but not a gun. No,
Oh, he's like.
it's it. Like I said, these are movies that I saw when I was a kid. I can watch any movie now, and it's not gonna be the same, effect.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing like your first.
But exactly, I was a zombie version back then.
Charles, what you got?
Well, I got a 2006 movie. It's called Bug. Have you guys seen
Bug?
that movie?
Bug.
Bug.
No.
Yes.
Bug. B-U-G.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Please tell me that's not like Joe's apartment.
No. It's an underrated film that actually it was directed by the guy that did The Exorcist.
Oh,
Really?
William Friedkin is what's his last name?
Friedkin, huh?
Yes.
Oh, it looks like it says Friedkin. Friedkin.
So Ashley Judd is in that movie.
This is from 1975.
No, it's a 2006 movie.
Okay, so there was one. I don't see it. Let me see.
So basically, her character is called Agnes, and she has a troubled past, and she befriends this ex-military drifter called Peter. And then quickly they bond over mutual loneliness and stuff. And then he reveals to her that he believes that he's been pursued by the government and that her room is infested with bugs. But it's really interesting because it's one of those movies that it relies on the paranoia and the schizophrenia and somebody planting a seed of doubt in your brain that really makes you doubt your reality. It's a really underrated, really good movie.
All right, Bug. Never heard of
it. It explores the world of conspiracy theories and the MK Ultra and the military experiments. So if you're into that, it's a really, really, really good movie.
And yet, I hear the title, and it reminds me of that part in the movie Creep Show where the guy is secluded.
Oh, the roaches.
The roaches. That's what it makes me think about.
So gross, that movie. Yeah, that part.
Cucarachas.
Cucarachas.
Cucarachas. So
yeah.
Bug. I gotta watch that.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Like never even heard
yes,
of it.
It's a really, really underrated movie, and I know that you're gonna like it.
Oh.
You've said that plenty of times.
You said that many times. I saw Terrifier Part 1. I couldn't even finish it.
Oh
Dude.
my God. I saw the cover and I was drawn to it, but when you told me about that, I was like,
it was so bad. So bad. Like, yeah, so bad. Anyway, there's a part 2 now.
Yeah, I saw. Neither of them.
Okay, I have here also. This one is probably cheesy, but it's also feeding off my fear of clowns. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That
really?
movie, huh?
Really?
As a kid, like I remember again, it's not necessarily the whole movie, but like just certain parts of it or a character. Like this one, to me, the scariest one was the little one. Let me see. When did that movie come out? That came out in
1998.
No, that movie came out in the 80s.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out some numbers.
1988 it came out.
Well, I was close. 10 years away.
But that movie, like, I remember the small clown, like, really freaked me out. Like, his face. It was, I don't know, it was a face. Again, those of you who are watching YouTube, I'm going to show you a picture of the character that I'm talking about. But it freaked me out. I mean, again, I remember I would, as a kid, I would look for stupidity in the movie just to, like, get rid of the fear.
Mm-hmm.
But deep down inside, yes, I was really, really afraid.
Oh, you're afraid of clowns?
Used to be, not anymore.
I hate like normal clowns, and yet I like clowns that are evil.
Like, I don't care for clowns now. I, like, as an adult, I never cared for clowns. Like, I never found them fun. I never found them funny. But like toys, I was always afraid of that shit. I got rid of my fear. I'm telling you, working at a haunted house. That's how I got rid of my fear of all the nonsense.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, JR, what you got?
Okay, I got this one. Is really cheesy. It's actually a stupid movie, but
No, my next one is gonna be really stupid. But go
okay,
ahead.
where they're in competition. I spoke to you about it. It's Prophecy.
Oh, that's with Christopher Walken.
Yeah, it's Christopher Walken. I don't remember
No.
the movie though.
No, the
Prophecy.
one that I'm talking about is from 1979.
Oh.
Yee.
Prophecy.
I actually saw it in our aunt's house when she used to live in the same block where I used to live at. They had that. I think that's where you saw the day after,
Probably.
because it was two movies and one of them was that one, and there's this freaking creepy ass bear.
I was about to say, is that a bear?
Yeah, it's a bear with no hair.
A fucking bear. This shit it is.
It's a fucking bear. Exactly. But it's I don't know. It was just like I have said before. It's the way they made the movie. And you know, they didn't go all out like now that they go all out on CGI and whatnot.
Yeah. Wow. This
So
looks
it gives
terrible.
that creepy feel.
I gotta watch this shit.
See,
Yo, it looks so bad, but it looks good. Like to watch. Fucking bear. Nice.
So your aunt was really into horror movies, huh?
yeah, it's your aunt too.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Your aunt. It's he who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, man. Yeah, horror movies are the shit, man. I mean, they still are, but it's just they don't make them as good anymore.
The guy, you know that the director from that movie, he did Tales from the Crypt. He did an episode.
Prophecy, 1979.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch that.
You're gonna hate it, but
Not, you know what movie I hated that I used to love, and then I watched it. I made the mistake of watching it last year.
Halloween 3.
No, I actually still like that one. Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead was even worse.
Wait up, Night of the Living Dead doesn't have to do with Return of the Living Dead.
Well, the first one. What's the first one then?
It was
Return
they
of the Living
had
Dead is part 2.
Return of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead 2.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead. There's Day of the Dead, Dawn of the
Dawn
Dead,
of the Dead. Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead. Then there's
My
Return
God.
of the Living Dead. I hated part 2 especially.
Oh my God, it was so bad. Like these cheesy jokes.
You remember part 2 where Michael Jackson comes out dancing at the end?
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it was like, I was like, what is this? Like that shit is blasphemy to horror movies.
It was a joke. No, but then it got even worse because then they came out with 3, then 4 with this girl that she was a zombie. She just
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I never
piercings
watched
and
those.
shit because she needed to feel pain.
No.
Wow.
It just
No,
got
thank
worse
you.
and worse.
All right. Charles, you got another? I feel like we're leaning towards stupid movies, which is awesome. I love this. Go ahead. Keep going.
Because that's the way they were. They had no real plot or
Prophecy. I gotta watch.
Prophecy.
Okay.
But what was it about actually? Like you didn't
A
never
bear.
told me.
A
It's
mutant
hairless
bear.
It's a
bear?
hairless
A
bear.
hairless bear?
It's a hairless bear.
It looks like a melted bear.
Exactly. It looks like a Shar-Pei, an overgrown Shar-Pei,
Doing what?
Killing
just
people.
killing people. I don't know. It has to do. It's in the woods. There's this tribe. It's I don't even know how to explain those shit to you.
Oh, this is great. Let me see
I'm
if I can
serious,
get it.
yo. It's hard to explain because I've seen it so long ago and I vaguely remember it.
Okay.
So it's hard to explain it. But like I said, I just keep remembering that freaking bear and how much it scared the shit out of me.
The hairless bear.
So,
hairless
okay,
bear.
so it says here it's about when a dispute occurs between a lodging operation and a nearby Native American tribe. If you notice, back in the 80s, a lot of the movies had to do with Native American tribes and shit. Anyway, Dr. Robert Byrne and his wife Maggie are sent in to mediate. Chief John Hawkins insists that lodgers are poisoning the water supply, and though company man Isley denies it, the Verns can't ignore the strangely mutated wildlife roaming the woods.
Oh.
So Robert captures a bear cub for testing and soon finds himself the target of an angry mutant grizzly.
Oh.
No.
So it's a mutant.
Yeah, it's a mutant grizzly. I'm telling you, it looks like a melting bear.
The lady that's there, that Maggie Byrne, her real name is Tyler Rose Shire, and she's the one who comes out in Rocky. Hey, Adrian.
Interesting. Okay. Prophecy so far is on the lead, man. I'll tell you that much. All right. Charles, what you got?
Well, it's a 2014 movie, and
Bro,
I guess
you are talking like a Gen Zer. I swear all your movies have been from 96 and up. All right, keep going.
Oh, he had to go back.
Even though I have one from like 2018. So yeah, go.
Okay.
So I'm guessing most of us have seen this movie, but it's The Babadook. Have you guys seen The Babadook?
I had that on list to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
The Babadook.
I have it there to watch.
Babadook?
The Babadook. Yes. It's a really, really, really good movie.
It's like a witch doctor, right? Something like that.
Well, the Babadook, yeah, I know what the Babadook is isn't he from like the New Orleans, right?
Right.
He's like their version of the devil when it comes to voodoo and hoodoo.
Is in the voodoo, voodooism.
Yeah, and he does. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
But it's nothing with voodoo and any of that.
Okay. Wait, I gotta look at what movie is that Babadook?
The Babadook is 2014.
Okay.
It's about a single mother that's plagued by the violent death of her husband, and she's battling with her son's fear of a monster lurking in the house because he finds a book that's titled My Babadook. And then he thinks that the monster is real, and then the monster will come and get him. So she's like battling that with whatever happened to her. But what works for me is that you hardly see the Babadook.
Yeah.
You hardly see him, and the tension is there. Like yes. It's a really good movie. It explores deeper themes, not just a scary story. It explores themes of mental illness and trauma, and the metaphor of the movie. Like it's really interesting.
It looks interesting by the photos I'm looking at here.
Yes, it has positive reviews. Yes,
I gotta watch that because I was actually looking when we were talking about when we were preparing for the episode about the Jumbies. I was actually looking into the Babadook. So I thought it would correlate one with another, but I didn't find anything that would like intertwine them, so I just left it alone. I
Well,
find it very.
And for these movies to have an effect on you, you really have to put in the position of the characters, you know,
You gotta be
shoes of what they're going on, because the movie is like an experience. If you don't feel what they're feeling, it's not gonna work. And you do, actually, you do.
La baba del duque.
La Jova del Duque.
All right. Let's see what I got here.
Wow.
So the next movie
The whole thing.
that I have, it's a very stupid movie. It was I saw it in 1999, I want to say. I can look that. I'm not even gonna look
Fly.
at it. The what? No, not the Fly. So this movie came out in 1999. Okay, I was right. Okay. So this movie was originally promoted as a true story, and I've always been a sucker for true stories. Like,
Please.
I
I think I know which one it is.
and the movie sucked because it's a terrible, terrible movie. I hated it when I watched it. But there was this one scene that I remember my heart started racing. And that movie is The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
So
And
that
I know,
movie.
and I know the scene.
Which scene?
It's the scene where they're downstairs and they show the guy like in the background, just facing the wall.
Just standing in a fucking corner, doing nothing. He was doing nothing.
The guy could be pissing.
And that shit freaked me out. I'm telling you, that shit.
Why?
I don't know. There's something about it. It's psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just have you seen the movie?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So the camera, they're like looking and he's like, whatever, and he turns around and just seeing that guy stand, I remember my heart. And I remember it made me feel that way because probably a year or two prior, I was at JR's house and we watched this special on TV that they also claimed it was real, which later on it was proven it was a hoax because there's actually a famous actress in that documentary. It was about an alien invasion.
Oh, wow.
So during that alien invasion, there's this kid with a camera. I actually watched that. I looked it up online and I watched it last year. Me and my wife were rolling with it because now it's like, okay. But when we first watched it, I remember JR taped it from the TV. And I was so intrigued by this. And the whole time, the kid is recording with the camera. This is before vlogging was a thing, but he was doing it. And he's like, they're going through all this shit. Like there's an explosion in the field, and they go and they see like this spaceship, and then they see like these aliens like chopping up a cow with a laser, but from afar. So it's creepy because this is all done with like an 8mm camera, super low budget, and shit starts happening. There's like this little girl there she's the only one who's calm, and all of a sudden they start hearing things, and they hear somebody walking on top of the house. And a long story short, aliens are invading, and they walk into the house, and the kid is with the camera. And all of a sudden, he walks into his room, and he's like this with the camera. And when he turns, one of the extraterrestrials is in the room, and he freezes to the point where the alien walks up to him, grabs the camera, and turns it around on him. And he's like frozen.
Holy shit.
That shit freaked the fuck out of me. It was so creepy. And again, all this time, at least I thought it was real.
Yeah, because they that's how they sold it. They sold it.
It was like
it
one
was
of
a
those
real
like
story.
Dateline. What is it? Dateline. One of those shows like 2020. It was something like that. And that
I
shit
watched
was
that
so. Yeah, you can look it up. And I forgot the name of it. It's by the family name.
Is it on YouTube?
Yes. And there's actually the original version on YouTube. And so when I saw Blair Witch Project, that part, I guess it reminded me of that. Yeah, and I remember my heart
It's the
started
fact
like
that they stuck it
bum,
into your
bum,
head
bum.
that it was a real story. You know, they just kept
So
driving it in. It's a real story.
Yeah.
It's a real story.
It triggered your alien invasion.
fears. Yeah, my alien fears.
Did you get scared in the subway when you saw a man peeing in the corner?
No. But yeah, man, that movie is like, this is not on my list, but I remember the whole urban legend, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
I never looked at that movie the same way. I was actually afraid. I actually had nightmares with that. Three
The
men and a
movie Urban
baby.
Legend?
3 men and a baby.
Oh yeah.
Because of the ghost thing in
Because of the
the
ghost
window.
kid. And when I finally saw it, just standing there, which looks like a cardboard cutout, that shit haunted me. Like, it freaked me out.
Just that little clip. I remember that.
Yeah.
They actually stopped. They actually stopped selling that movie after they found out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my
Anyway.
movie, Blair Witch Project, and the guy in the corner doing nothing.
He could be peeing, playing
Yeah.
with wearing. I don't know.
So yeah. All right, what you guys got, JR?
I got Demons Part 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You remember that one?
I remember the girl.
The girl is the creepy one.
Yeah.
When that whole scene where she's just watching the movie like we all do. You know, we're like really intrigued watching the movie, and out of the blue, that demon in the TV is just looking at you. And then it just starts turning and walking towards you.
Yeah.
You know, and that shit bugged me out. And he actually starts coming out of the TV. But when she changes, that's where it got like kind of scary. It's her, the way she looked. Because not even Demons Part 1 was good. You know, it was horrible. You know, the demons there were worse. And I like that one because of that, you know?
Yeah, it's like little, I'm telling you, to me, it's just like little things. I mean, to the point. Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's like little things that just make an impact in you enough for you to remember. Because I don't remember that movie. I remember of the movie. I remember the girl. I don't remember what the movie's about. I don't.
It's in an apartment building.
But it's like little things like that, like the voices to me. The
You remember
voices
the
that they
little boy?
use. No.
You remember the little demon boy?
No.
The guy who played it, he came out in The Passion of Christ. Wow. He did. And a religious movie and a demonic movie.
When did that movie come out?
1986.
1986. Okay. All right, Charles.
You guys went all retro today.
Huh?
What?
You guys went all retro today.
Well, yeah.
Basically, because like I said, you know, nowadays these movies, they're good. You know, most of them are good, but they don't have the same effect as when we were kids.
Yeah.
These movies are old, they're cheesy, but they're good. This generation will never understand it. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Millennials won't ever understand it.
So I have this 2012 movie.
See, he's stuck in that year. In the 2000s and stuff.
And it's a film called VHS. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
I saw the cover and it really didn't draw my attention. That's like I think it's called Terror Vision. Is a movie something like that?
What? Terror Vision?
Yeah, I think it's called Terror Vision. It's an old movie.
Well, it's a 2012 movie, and it's on the found footage horror line. Between you know, those old movies like Cannibal Holocaust in the 80s and then the Blair Witch Project in the 90s, that they sold that shit like, you know,
like
hey,
this
is
real.
real and so yeah, exactly. So this movie is about these dudes that they're getting paid to go to this house and retrieve this VHS tape. And when they get there, they find this body sitting on a chair. Apparently, he was watching the thing that was on the tape.
The
So-
Gainesville Ripper. But I'm talking about, that they find it posed. He went back for the VHS. Well, instead of the VHS, the wallet.
So there are more. There are many other tapes, VHS tapes, and whatnot. And while the other dudes are roaming around the house stealing stuff, this dude stays behind and he starts watching these tapes. And basically, this movie is about these 5 tapes that he watches, and the story goes back and forth between what's going on in the present and what's going on in the tapes. And for a movie that's on that category, like it's found footage thing, like they're really interesting stories. Actually, the last story on that movie, the guys, what are they called? Radio Silence. Those are the guys that did Already or Not and the new Scream and stuff. They are involved in that last story.
You're gonna have to send me a text with all these movies so I can sit down and watch them some moment.
Yes, and they've been on the Sundance Film Festival and stuff, and like, yeah, I that's on my list.
So just in case, the family that was abducted, quote unquote, by the aliens is called the McPherson tape. Just in case if you're gonna look for it, you can find it on YouTube.
The McPherson thing.
McPherson, yeah, the McPherson family. So there was like an original one, and I guess they recreated it for TV. So yeah.
It tells you a lot. The fear, McPherson.
So okay, so on my next is from 2002.
Hey, another Charles.
Well, that movie didn't really scare me. What scared me was what you fucking did after the movie. I was already a parent at this time.
What did I do?
So we were watching the movie, and I stood over JR's house that day, and we would do we had like a, what do you call it? Not a ritual. How do you call that when you do something?
Oh,
a tradition.
Tradition.
So we had our tradition. Usually, at least once or twice a month, we would do the whole Blockbuster run, rent movies, we'd buy food, and we all just bum it out in his house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one night,
Actually miss it.
so we were staying over, and we decided to rent The Ring.
Remember
So we
now.
watched The Ring, which that movie had a ton of promotion, scariest movie, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we watched the movie, and yes, it was creepy. The fact, a child, like we've spoken before, children and old people in horror movies are amazing because they scare you without doing
They're
much.
evil. They're evil.
So
Hey, I'm getting old. I'm not evil.
So we're watching the movie. We finished watching the movie. And we're like, oh, okay, all right. It was and then this fucking dickhead, the phone starts ringing. And I remember we were all like sitting in the dark because we were going to sleep. It was late. It was like 2 a.m. And I hear the phone ring, and my heart, I was like frozen on the bed, like. Because all I heard is the house phone ringing. And it was this asshole with his cell phone from the bed calling the house. Yo, but I still remember that, like, the fear that I felt. Yeah, and I was like 21, 22 at that time. So.
Wow.
You gotta admit, it was funny.
It was hilarious. So I'm saying, like, it wasn't even the movie that scared me, but just that shit, the fucking phone ringing. Yo.
Wow, I totally forgot about that. Now that you mentioned it, just like.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my story of The Ring.
Oh, shit. That was a good one. I got one here. Evil Dead. But the old one.
Dead, yes.
I remember the name.
Evil Dead. Even though they look shitty. I don't know.
This is also with the demons, because I think this one also
yes.
But it was kind of more creepier than the original, than the remake.
Yes. Okay. Oh, because I was gonna mention Army of Darkness, and it has to
That's
do
a
with that.
joke.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
That's-
had
I
like
found it a
comedy in
joke.
it, but it's the same guy. And
yeah.
yes.
I
Yes.
think the guy's name is Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
He did Maniac Cop also.
Oh shit, there was a remake of Evil Dead in 2013.
Yeah,
13. Yes.
yeah.
There's
It
gonna be
wasn't
another
bad.
part, Evil Dead Rise, in 2023.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's something to look for. But like I said, the remake wasn't that bad, but the old one is more creepier for some reason. And the director Sam Raimi, he actually did the trilogy of Spider-Man, and
He did.
yeah, and he did the last Doctor Strange, the multiverse.
Yep.
From horror to superheroes, even though he did also Drag Me to Hell. Did you
I
get to
still
see
haven't
it?
seen that movie.
Hell yeah.
Haven't seen it?
Hell yeah.
The old lady is the creepy one. That's
Yep.
it.
I still haven't seen it.
The old toothless lady.
All right. So Evil Dead. Charles, you got someone else?
Well, I got a 2017 movie, and it's done by the dude that did Black Swan, Darren Aronofsky. Have you guys seen Mother?
Yeah.
You know, I actually was gonna watch it the other day and I didn't, but yeah.
Yes, Jennifer Lawrence is in that movie. And it's a movie with a lot of symbolism. It's one of those movies that requires multiple watchings because everybody will get something different out of it, even though there's something that they allude to, but I don't want to say it because no spoilers for people that haven't watched it.
Mother?
But yes.
Okay.
So this woman, Jennifer Lawrence, she's spending her days renovating her mansion that she lives in with her husband. And then all of a sudden, a stranger knocks on their door and he becomes an unexpected guest in their home. And then later, his wife and two grown children arrive to make themselves welcome. And then terror soon strikes when the woman tries to figure out why her husband is so seemingly friendly and accommodating to everyone but her. But it's a movie that received positive reviews, but it sparked controversy because of the biblical allegories and violence that's in the movie. The movie is kind of violent.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yes. You saw it? Remember the part when they're eating the baby?
That is so harsh. You had to bring up eating the baby.
I haven't seen it. No.
Eating the baby.
Yum,
Yes.
yum.
Ah, gosh.
Yes.
I have okay, so let me see. So it's Mother, right? The one you said?
Mother.
Mama.
Yeah, that one I
Mama.
want. So I have one here. It's from 1995.
Uh-huh.
The movie, I love the movie itself. Just there's a scene there that I was always creeped out about. And the movie is Lord of Illusions. You guys ever seen that?
I have a vague memory of that movie.
So do I.
Is that about a magician that sells his soul to the devil and something?
So it's like a cult. There's a guy called Swan, right? And he actually has real powers. But then he's part of this like cult. And that's the part that freaked me out. Like in the beginning, when they're in this cult and they start like shaving their head in like pieces and clumps, and so one of them, the leader of the cult, doesn't want to let him go, and he does like a pact of like demons and whatnot. But yeah, the scary part for me was the whole cult of it. The movie's pretty good. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I haven't seen it in years, but yeah.
A vague memory of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years. But again, it's one of those movies that it's like a little clip. It's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. We spoke about it last. I love that movie. I finished watching it. But there's two parts in that movie that really freaked me out as a kid. When Large Marge goes,
March.
And when they finally pulled the driver's body from the twisted, burning wreck, it looked like this.
that shit freaked me out as a kid. And then when Francis, when he's like dreaming, when Pee-wee's in the hospital and he's dreaming of his bike, and then all the clowns come out. That part I remember.
Boy, it goes back to the
You're
clowns.
really
huh?
traumatized with these
Like
clowns.
I remember that part, like the clowns freaked me out, and I was scared of it. But yeah,
Oh, no, you don't know what am I?
It reminds me of Bart. Remember when Bart was 2 and he was like scared of clowns. Clown will eat me.
Yeah, but he was sleeping on a scary ass bed. You
Clown
know?
will eat me.
Okay. Yeah, I only have one more, but yeah.
I got, let me see, 1, 2, I got 3 more.
All right, shoot. What's
No,
your next
4
one?
more. Anyway, this one, you're going to be like surprised because it's well known. I know you guys saw it. It's Friday the 13th. Part
Really?
2. Part 2.
The one with the sack?
The one with the sack.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
scary as heck.
Yeah.
That burlap sack is what scared the shit out
with
of
the
me.
eyes.
With
Yeah,
the little hole and him peeping. Come on.
I
Tell me
agree.
that shit ain't fucking scary.
I agree. It's like when you
That
played
shit,
Resident Evil
though.
4 and the guy with the sack over his head
Yes.
came out. I remember my heart was like the adrenaline pumping.
Yes.
That's true. I
He's
agree.
more scarier there than the other parts itself with the hockey mask.
I agree. Yep.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, that burlap sack.
The sack. Charles, what you got?
Well, I got a 2011 movie.
Wow.
It's a psychological film, and most people don't know about this movie, but this was Elizabeth Olsen's first movie, and it's called Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene.
Okay.
Sarah Paulson is in it as well.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson.
Her, I know who
is in the
she
movie,
is.
yes.
She's a great actress.
So the plot focuses on a young woman suffering from delusions and paranoia after returning to her family from an abusive cult.
Ooh,
So-
I like movies like that.
Yes, she basically escaped this cult, and the movie makes you think if what she's feeling or seeing is real or not. And I like those type of movies that you can relate to it because it's not that much about zombies or aliens or little ghost girls or something. It's there's something about something that can happen to you that you can go and say, hey, like this can happen to me.
Yeah. I think that
So-
it's the whole psychological thing to it.
Yes.
What's the name again?
Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. It's a 2011
Martha,
thriller movie.
Marcy, May, Marlene.
Yes. Sean Durkin is the writer and director, and he made a short film named Mary Last Scene. And it's about this girl that tries to get into the cult and the initiation of it all. So basically, he created this short film to introduce this bigger film, which is about a woman trying to escape from the cult, not trying to get in.
See, that's what I'm saying. All right.
Yes.
That's one I'll be watching too. All right. I got 3 so far. All right. Oh, wait, I have another one here. Okay. My next one is from 1989. Again, the movie itself, it's not really scary, but there's this one scene with a child. It's Pet Sematary.
Oh.
When Pet Sematary, when the little boy, which is the one actually from Full House, he comes out in Full House. He's
Yeah, Mercury Rising.
and Mercury Rising. Mercury Rising. Did I talk about Mercury Rising in one of the episode podcasts? No,
I don't remember.
I probably talked about it in another podcast. I did. I'll get to that now. Hold up. But that kid, yeah, the part where he's like, and he comes out with like the knife and yo, that shit just seeing a baby. That shit freaked me out.
Yeah, and the way he changes his voice.
Yes. So funny tidbit here with that kid. I don't know what that kid's name is, but I remember Mercury Rising is the first and only movie so far that has made me cry like a baby in the movie theaters. Mind you, I was dating at that time, and I was with my girlfriend at that time. And I'm crying like a big puss in a corner of the theaters watching that. I don't know what it was because the movie's not bad. It's just seeing that kid. I mean, first of all, his acting was amazing.
Yes, he's a great actor.
And seeing that child with special needs, I don't know what it was about it. It broke my heart. But to a point, I couldn't stop. I'm telling you, like a big puss in the corner of a theater like this, like facing the other way because I couldn't stop crying.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, that kid is actually a great actor.
Oh, was a great actor. I don't think he acts anymore, does he?
I'm not sure.
I haven't seen him anyway. Anyway, So yeah, Pet Sematary.
Miko Hughes, I think is his name.
Something like that, yeah. It's amazing how we haven't had a coincidence in the list yet. We haven't coincidence with a movie.
Well, I think me and David did Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got one more left.
I still have one that you guys seen, and it's a miracle you haven't put it down if you didn't.
Oh no, I actually have two more.
Last.
I have two more. I just remembered one. Okay. All right. So JR, what's your next one?
Next one, The Howling.
Really?
The Howling.
I actually watched that movie over the weekend.
You saw it, the first one?
Yeah.
Remember the part where well, the actual wolf scared the shit out of me, but the part where they're in the office, in the doctor's office, and he starts transforming.
Mm-hmm.
I put myself right like in her place. And you know that most of the movies when you watch it, they either when they see them changing, they run out.
Yeah.
But he was changing, looking at her. And he wouldn't take his eyes off her, and she's just freaking out, watching him change, and the way he changed, it was scary.
I remember as a kid, I was actually I was pretty creeped out by that movie. It was I was explaining to my son, I was like, this is one of those movies that they would actually give like every year on TV, like Breakfast Club and Wizard of Oz.
Is it true that E.T.'s mom is in that movie?
Who?
E.T.'s mom.
What, on Howling?
What movie?
Yes, The Howling.
Halloween or The Howling?
The Howling.
E.T.'s mom. Really?
Yes. I don't know. I'm just quoting something from Scream where somebody asked, what's the character's name? Randy. They're at the video store and she goes, what's that horror movie with E.T.'s mom in it? And he goes, Howling, straight ahead. So
wow, yo, you caught me off guard with this.
Let me see if I can find
E.T.'s mom. Like, there's some monster that looks like E.T.'s mom in it or something.
Howling.
Like
supposedly E.T. comes out in Neverending Story.
Really?
Yeah, I showed it to David.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, I get it. I know what it is. The girl that comes out her name is Dee Wallace. She does Karen White in that movie. She comes out in E.T. I got it here.
Oh,
she did Critters. She did she actually did the three from hell.
So basically she was talking about the actress, not something that looked like E.T.'s mom. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That's how I'm like she came out in E.T. the movie. Now I get it.
I'm like looking it up here in Fangoria and
I was just looking up like, wait up, damn.
Now I get it.
All right. So Charles, what you got?
So I mentioned this movie on the last podcast, but I'm gonna mention it again, and it's Smile. I had the opportunity to watch that movie again this week, and It's a really good movie, to be honest.
I gotta watch it. See,
Yes.
you're in the spot that we were in. You can't talk about it without giving it away.
Okay, so basically, I'm not gonna give it away. Basically, there's this doctor called Rose, and she starts experiencing frightening things when a patient of hers kills herself in front of her.
Okay.
And they just take the whole symbolism of the happiness thing, because when somebody is happy, they smile. They take the whole symbolism and they transform it into something creepy. Like there's something about somebody grinning at you, like really creepy. That's
That's that they got a Spanish version of that. Se llama Sonríe.
Well, actually, when I watched it at the movie theater, and when title comes in, that's what this says. Sonríe, doesn't say smile.
Yo, D, check it out on cinema. You scroll down, you're gonna find Sonríe.
Sonríe.
And even though it's a movie that relies heavily on strong camera angles and invasive close-up, but it focuses on the horrific mental state of the protagonist and her descent into madness, you can feel it. It's something that she tries to analyze the situation. She never goes into these type of situations where you go, oh, like, why are you doing this? Or why is she doing that? Like, no, she's trying to rationalize what's happening to her, which makes it even more scarier, because I believe that there's nothing more scarier than you trying to explain to somebody what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and nobody believes you. Like,
Yeah.
you're feeling that you're gonna die, that something's about to get you, and nobody like.
And you got some a-hole in front of you with a big ass smile.
Exactly. So yeah, and the score was, if you ever have the chance to just listen to the score, like it's there. I had to put it on the list. I mean, yes.
All right.
It's good.
So my last movie itself, well, one I can't count because I really don't remember the name of the movie. So I'm just gonna throw that one out here. It's just a specific scene. I don't know if it's The Conjuring or Insidious. Because I mixed those two movies.
Okay, is it the demon that appears behind somebody like all of a sudden?
No, that one's that's Insidious, right?
That's Insidious, yeah.
So there's one, I think it's a Conjuring, that is like it's like a gargoyle. It's one of those. It's Insidious. I know it's a part. It's an elevator scene, and they're in the elevator, and all of a sudden the elevator opens, and it's dark, and all of a sudden you see it's hanging from like the ceiling, and all you see is the head, like looking down.
I remember.
Yo, that part. But I don't remember which anymore. Anyway, but it was around 2012, 13 ish. So the last one on my list would have to be It.
Really?
The new one. Both parts.
It's the clown thing.
It's the clown thing. Yeah, it's the whole, like, the beginning when he's like talking to Georgie and he's like slobbering all over himself. Yo, that shit. But the movies are great. I mean, to me, that's
it's a blubbering clown.
One of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. Like, and I know it's a remake, but I found it to be so freaking great, man.
Did you know that the actor that does Pennywise is the one that's gonna do The Crow?
Really?
Whoa, what?
You know that's Tarzan's brother?
What?
Wait up. We're jumping on here.
Brendan Fraser?
The Crow.
No, not that whack ass Tarzan.
No.
The handsome Tarzan. The muscly, handsome Tarzan that came out after that.
The guy from True Blood.
Probably.
Yeah, he's from True Blood.
So he's doing The Crow. I don't see him as The Crow. I saw pictures of him and I just see Pennywise. A goth Pennywise.
Well, he should just put on the makeup and put on a black jacket.
But he did a great Pennywise, I'll tell you that much.
Yes, he did.
Of course.
So yeah, that's my list. And besides that, I only have 2 parts of a show that creeped me out for many, many years. I don't know if you guys, well, I know JR remembers, but I don't know. Did you ever watch, Charles? Did you ever watch Tales from the Dark Side?
Think so.
The beginning itself is creepy.
That music alone.
Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side.
The music alone.
I remember it would scare the shit out of me.
What year is that from?
This is in the
Oh,
80s.
that's from the 80s.
Let me see. I'll tell you right
I have
now.
here, let me see.
So there's these 2 specific episodes. Well, 3, but let me see. Let me tell you right now. Tales from the Dark Side. What year that was from?
1990.
Yeah, 1990. It can't be.
No, there's one in 1990.
Oh, this is the movie. It's the movie, though. That's from the Dark Side series.
Yeah, George Romero there. He's the
Series.
director.
Okay, so it started in 1983 and it ran for 4 seasons. So from 83, even though it says here they stopped doing it in 1988. But these seasons would have like 20 episodes. I was a couple of years ago, I was watching them on cinema. They don't have all the episodes though, but there was this episode. I remember it haunted me. 3 episodes, 3 clips, because that's all I remember is like clips of it. One of them was there was something going on, a family, and there's like this giant that ends up putting his hand through the window and killing the family. That stupid scene right there, that shit, I don't know why. I was super afraid. A hand, because that's all you see. It's a giant hand.
Green giant.
Another one episode was there's this girl. She gets sick. And it's sort of like an exorcism type thing. All right, we haven't even mentioned the Exorcist. I don't know if you guys
See,
have it.
you just messed it up. That was
okay,
my
but
number
hold
one.
up, wait. So that's like a classic. That's like I think in everybody's list.
Exactly.
But so the girl is sick, and I remember they're like praying and whatever, the Catholic priest, and this girl is turning into like a demon. What freaked me out was not that. What freaked me out was that her legs turn into goat legs. And when she stands up, just seeing those goat legs, yeah, that shit haunted me. And then the third one was, there was one about this family. Well, I think it's like a father and the daughter. And she has in her room a little door. And that little door, she plays with something, and they never show you exactly what it is. It's like a baby type, right? And she dresses it. Anyway, at the ending, it ends up being like this demonic creature. It was white with red eyes. Very ugly. If I find pictures, I'm going to show our viewers in YouTube. But
give them a clip of the music.
I remember that shit was so freaky to me. And again, these are all things. I was a kid. I was 1983. I was like 5 years old,
Yeah,
4 years old.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I used to watch. I don't know, man. I'm telling you.
Hanging too much with me, watching horror movies.
So that's my list. I don't got anything else. Yep.
Well, yeah, you do have one, which is the first one the last one I'm gonna mention. I have The Fog, but not that.
Really?
Not the new one with who was it? With Tom Welling, I think it is.
I don't remember the old
The
one.
guy who did Smallville, I think it is.
Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah.
I didn't like that new one. I'm talking about the old one. I don't know. It was just that creepy feel, especially that ending when they just show that I don't know if it was a spirit, the ghost. I don't know what it was, like in between the mist. That kind of scared the shit. And John Carpenter did it. And he was one of the actors also.
Really?
Yeah, he did. Bennett, I think. Yeah, Bennett is his name. And Jamie Lee Curtis was in it.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't remember. Like, I remember what it's about. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's like some sort of mist, you know.
The
But like I said,
fog.
that last that part in the church, I think it was a church, and when it just creeped the shit out of me.
You guys remember the Blob?
Oh my god, horrible!
All right, Charles, what you got?
I got a 2012 movie.
Wow,
It's
look at this
called It's called The Conspiracy. If you are into conspiracy theories and stuff, and you believe in all that Illuminati and the Masons and the Knights Templar and all that stuff, that movie is for you. Because let me tell you, I was obsessed with it for a while, and I was just listening to these videos on YouTube about the Illuminati and the New World Order and stuff, and you just go deep down that rabbit hole, and you go like, oh my God, like these people control the universe. So this is a faux documentary. So it's not a found footage film. It's a faux documentary.
Meaning it's a fake documentary.
It's a fake documentary style movie, yes. So it's about these two dudes that they're doing a documentary on this conspiracy theorist that he's I don't know where he's from. I think New York, I think. And you know these dudes that they go like, oh, like 9/11 is fake, and they go and yell that shit out on the streets and stuff. So he's that type of person. So they're trying to do a documentary on him, but then all of a sudden he disappears. So they find his work, and that takes them to these secret society stuff, and like, yeah, you just go deep down that hole. It's a really interesting movie, yes.
Not that it scared me, but one of my all-time favorites. I just feel like I needed to throw this out there. Not that it was scary, not that it traumatized me, but I think it was just a really good let me fix this here. Hold up. I think it was a really good horror movie. 13 Ghosts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm still wondering why they haven't done like a series of it. Like they could just do a story with every ghost.
Yeah,
they could do actually a movie with the jackal itself. He was like the creepiest one there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that character, the jackal.
Yep. All right.
Tony Shalhoub.
JR, what you got?
Oh, my all-time favorite, and I know you've seen it, and I know Charles seen it, is Exorcist. 1973.
Yes, that was on my list.
With Linda Blair, Jason Miller, with Timmy. The good director is called William Friedkin. And like I said, he's the one who has the unrealized project, Child's Play. He actually wanted to do it.
Child's Play was amazing.
That would have been awesome. I mean, Don Mancini did a wonderful job. He would have done a wonderful job as well.
Done it great, you know. But I like that movie because of the fact it don't have jump scares. It's like just straight out, you know.
Yes.
The girl herself, I don't know. It's the whole thing itself.
My whole thing is the voices, and that movie what creeps me out is the voices.
The voices and the way she looks.
Yeah.
You know? And not even the head spinning
voices. No, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's the voice. All that shit, yo.
That manly voice.
Yeah.
Did you know that lady
does that?
That lady is not credited in the end credits?
No,
she's not.
She's not. No, I know. I saw
that's gotta be some old lady that smokes a lot.
Yeah, and she would smoke and drink whiskey before recording those vocals.
That shit.
So she has that manly voice.
There we go with the old people.
Yep.
The old people voice, their appearance. I don't know.
That movie was the first horror film to be nominated for the Academy Awards for Best Film. So it's a really great movie. And actually, in 2010, the Library of Congress selected the film to be preserved in its National Film Registry, citing it as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Wow.
I hope they never remake it.
You know what show, a clip also that freaked me out? I'm telling you, I got some weird shit, man. You remember the show Alf?
Trauma.
Remember the show Alf? I'm telling you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm only talking about stuff that I remember having nightmares about it. And
You kill me.
Alf never scared me, right? It's not that it was scary to me until they showed his full body. That shit scared me. Like I remember there's a little clip of him like running.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about that I remember I had nightmares about that. Yeah.
I don't know why, but
I don't know. All right, what else you guys got? I got nothing else. So
I mean, either. I don't have anything else.
Charles, you got the last one?
I got the last one. And it's a 2016 movie.
Oh my god.
He stood in the 2000s.
Yep. It's called Raw. Have you guys seen Raw?
Oh my god. None of the movies you mentioned besides Scream. I haven't seen any of them.
Raw, it's on Netflix, I believe.
Okay.
And it's about this young vegetarian that she's on her first year at veterinary school. And then she tastes meat for the first time and develops a craving for flesh. So it's about a cannibalistic movie. But it's not just about the shock value of it. There's like a story behind it, and it has to do with emotional elements and family drama that makes it a meaningful experience for the viewer. It's not just something like I said, Cannibal Holocaust or The Green Inferno. Have you guys seen The Green Inferno?
I did.
I have not.
I did.
So yeah, it's very gory.
The way they got that fat guy. They had a banquet with him.
I don't know. Cannibalism. Watch Yellow Jacket.
Yes.
I actually started watching it.
You like it so
Did you?
far?
Yes.
To watch that. Where is it streaming at?
I think I think it's a Showtime show.
Yeah, it's a Showtime.
Showtime.
I had to watch it on cinema.
Yeah, that's how I watched it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I recommend that movie as well.
Wow.
Ah, so look at that. So guys, this has been the list of I can't even say horror movies. It's been a list of shit that has scared us at one point or another in our lives, or has impacted us in one way or another in our lives. Yeah.
Nothing has impacted Charles back then. I guess he wasn't watching movies.
You never watched any movies as a kid?
Yeah, I did, but remember that we're from different decades. I mean, you guys were like what when Freddy came out and Jason?
You're only 3 years younger than me, so cut it out.
You just got stuck in the millennial.
So
I mean, hey, I knew you guys were gonna bring the retro. I mean, let me just bring the new stuff.
No, that's
please.
fine. That's
what I'm saying. Like,
It
if
was
you had to
actually
choose
fine.
one of those movies, you have no memory of anything ever scary.
Besides the Freddys and the Jasons and the Leatherfaces and the Pinheads, like you guys are the one with the knowledge with those hidden gems, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Did you know that there's a game coming out? Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yes, a video game.
Oh, you won't see David playing it.
A la Dead by Daylight. You'll never see David play it.
Oh, and I forgot there was another movie that I had a thought of. I mean, I mentioned it in last week's podcast. Again, a scene, because I don't even remember the movie. I just remember a scene from the movie, The Tale of Two Sisters. It's a Japanese movie, and you have to watch it with subtitles. And there's a scene of I think it's a woman. She's on the bed, and it's sort of like it has a feeling of like The Ring and The Grudge type movies. But there's a specific scene where she looks and she just sees someone crawling towards her bed.
Oh, those are scenes that scared you.
And it's dark, so she just sees, and all you see is all of a sudden the person starts like standing up slowly. Yo,
that's like Buddy's Game.
My heart was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
These Japanese movies, they're freaking creepy, yo.
Yeah.
They be coming out with the creepiest shit. Because even The Grudge, it wasn't that scary, but that sound that she made.
Yeah, it's like the Babadook. You only hear him and go.
See that shit? Forget it. So
No, it's like that. It's creepy.
Yeah, man. All right, so I think we can leave this episode here. This has been a list, like I said. If you guys agree or you don't agree, we would like to read what you guys have to say. So please leave us a comment in the comment section of the YouTube video, or I don't know, podcast. They can leave comments. They can leave reviews. So just leave us a review of how
Even
much
if there's
you
a
had.
movie that they can mention.
Yeah, man, and I want to know what movies scared you, or even if it's a scene. Listen, I mentioned Alf. I mentioned Blair Witch Project. These are all like little pieces, like bits and pieces of it. That is just I don't know what it is about it. That it's just I carry that with me. But yeah, we wanna read your stories. If you guys have stories, again, scary stories. I haven't mentioned this in the last few episodes, but I feel like I should say it now. If you guys have scary stories, paranormal stories, true crime stories, even about movies, something you were scared about, you would like us to read in one of our episodes, you can write to us at thegrimfixpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram or Facebook, or just drop the comment on the YouTube video. All right. So that's it for this week. See you guys next week. I am David here with JR and Charles. This is the Grim Fix Podcast.
Peace.
Be safe.